Hello, welcome to my workshop. My name's Jeff McDonald. If you've been following my channel, you'll notice I've been just turning just small bowls, no segmented lately. Well, I'm changing that. I'm going back to some segmented turning. I created a new type of bowl. A person seen one of mine for sale on Etsy, and they said, well, they liked the style, but they wanted it different. They wanted it taller. And 10 inches. So this is a salad bowl. It's going to be, I think it's 6 inches tall by 10 inches in diameter. So we're going to start making that. Now they wanted ones, of course, as usual. I make two whenever I make one. If you're making all the cuts, you might as well make it for two, right? So with that, let's get started. I'm only going to show you cutting one strip because I'm going to be cutting strips all day, enough for two bowls. So a lot of my black walnut's already been cut, so I don't have to worry about that. But I got to do some cherry and some maple, okay, Purple Heart. All right. All right, so this is a 1.2 inches, so I gotta move this over. I think it's 1 3/16 if I'm not mistaken. Sometimes I gotta cheat and I'll put this at 1.2 and I'll check it. 1 3/16, yes. Okay. All right, so I got all the strips cut. Now it's time to start cutting the segments. To get started, and hopefully I can do this so you can see it. This is my cut sheet, and this one ring. Each one of these is a ring. Okay, and this is segmented edge length. This is the widest part of a segment. Here you got a ring, right? Some of you have already seen this before, but I like to show folks each segment. This is, of course, the widest part because it's the outside of the diameter. So this is the measurement we use, the outside. And so all I do is I cut each piece to match these segmented edge length, the 0.65, 0.71, 0.75 for each ring. Okay, and I keep track of all this. And I just got to set and start cutting them. I'll show you the first couple ones I cut just so you can see what we're doing. All right, so here we are. What I do is on the cut sheet I get the measurement, right? 0.65, so I just get my caliper, go to 0.65. Okay, and I put a line on here. This is how I do it. I don't know how other people do it, but this works for me, 0.65. Then I come over to the saw, and based on the inside, because the cut's going to fall to the left, I line this up And then I come over here and I bring this, shit, I already messed up, sorry. I put it here. I haven't made segments in a couple months. I've been cutting just regular bowls for a while because I needed to get a bunch built up for the show. All right, that's how I do it. I bring the stop up, 0.65, and there it is, okay? Now to start cutting, I'm starting with let me turn the back system on. Uh-oh. My saw's not, I gotta reset my saw. Hang on a minute. This is this saw stop, if anything touches a blade, it just will stop. It won't throw the brake off, but it will, the electrical, the I don't know what to say, but the static electricity even turns the saw off. So I got to reset the saw. All right, now we're ready. I thought. I've got a problem. Let me fix the problem and I'll come back. And I go back and forth. I leave this line on top. This always stays on top. I'll explain what that's all about later. If you've never been here, if you've been seen my videos on segmented, you'll know what I mean. All right. I'm going to be doing this for the first ring. One ring takes 36 of these, and I'm doing 2 bowls at a time. So it's going to be 72 pieces I got to cut. So I'm going to be doing this all day. So I just want to give you an idea what I'm doing, and then we'll come back when it's time to put these rings together, okay? Here is all the segment pieces for 2 bowls, okay? There's 2 rings actually worth of segments in each bowl, each container. That's why they all have different collars, because they all get matched up a different way to make the final product. So you'll see how that unfolds as we go. But so now what we do is I go inside and we start building rings. I'm going to show you how I make my rings, because the bowls are built by levels of rings. I call them rings, sections, however you want to look at it. And each section has a collar code, and this is what I'm following here actually. And if you look at this carefully, you can see the same code. It's white, red, white, cherry, walnut, cherry, maple, purple heart, maple, however you want to look at it, but it's just the same all the way through. Now this is enough for 2 bowls, okay? There's 18 in each row, 36 per bowl. All right. So that's how I lay it out to match the collar. Now I normally don't print out that color wheel like that, but I thought maybe it'd be easier to illustrate it if I did. The other part I wanted to show you, and others have seen it, I usually show people, is these black marks I put on it when I first cut them. You know, it's cut. The long strips had the black mark, and I cut the segments. This is why. That identifies what side of the wood it is, because how do I explain this? A saw blade is thought to be 90 degrees perfect, and it's close, but hardly is everything completely perfect. And if it's off just a few degrees, and if I cut them all out and went around 36 of them, and it's only off a half of a degree, well, that's going to be off a couple degrees, and it's going to throw things off on the whole ring. So by cutting it and flipping it. So I cut this and this cut, and this one would be down, see, and these would be up. This is down, this is up. All right, I hope that makes sense. So it's opposite sides from the way they were cut on the table saw. All right, so then I lay it up here in the same similar fashion, so that when I grab them, they're ready to be put in the right position. All right. Now all I do is put a string of glue on it. You can use my finger. What you definitely got to do is have a rag, a wet rag, before you do this, because you're going to be messy. But I just kind of push here to kind of put a little tension on it so it doesn't get knocked out of whack, which is easy to do. There's many ways to do this stuff. I just like doing it this way. And I'm sure others have done it this way. I don't really remember anyone else doing it this way, but similar. However you get it done, it's got to get done, you know. So I just slab the glue, get it moved around, make sure the whole block is covered. Try to keep it from rolling over. If you put too much glue, it starts pouring over this edge. And this is Type Bond 3 glue because it's one thing, it's waterproof. Another thing, it doesn't dry as quick. All right. So now we have that. So now what we're going to do is, I'm going to move you, I think. All right. So then I move these transform over to here. Now I got to be careful when I lay this out because I don't want to mess it up. My hand's going to be in your way a little bit from seeing, but you'll have the idea. I lay it and just flip it the same way every time. Now I notice when I cut these segments, the maple ones are thicker, so I kind of screwed up there. What's going on there? It's all right. Okay. Yeah, and I just keep going. Flip it the same way every time. It's not going to be perfect right now because you got to straighten it out anyway. Kind of get it best you can. Oh, that's a hole there. Why is that hole there? Oh, no wonder it was messing up. It's throwing me off. I'm like, why is that falling down like that? Okay. It doesn't take too long. We just, and I'm kind of rusty at that. I've just been cutting regular regular wood bowls lately, and this is the first time I've gotten back to segmented bowls in a couple months, which actually they are my bread and butter. Segmented bowls is what I normally like to build, but I had to have a bunch of the other ones for a show coming up, so I wanted to knock them out. And sorry for my hand being away. I know no other way. And I did do it once outside, but it's kind of raining today, out on my patio, and where I could, on the table out there, I could put the camera on that side, shining, and it would have made sense. You could have seen it a lot better. Sorry. I got it messed up somehow. This ring's messed up. Come on. I went too wide with all the pieces. You'll have that. Got to get them close, you know. That's all. Just got to get them close. There we go. Then when we go to put the wood on, then I got these straps I found on Amazon I really like, and they're adjustable. You don't have to sit there and crank them all the way until you get them where you need them. Like, it's adjustable here, right? And when you get it about where you need it, the only problem is you get all this glue stuck on them. I gotta clean these. Okay, and that just flips over, so you're not having to crank and crank and crank. So what I gotta do now is take a block of wood, and that holds all these pieces in place. Hang on a minute. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. And I just kind of tighten it up a little bit because I got to go in here and straighten these out now. All right. They're kind of out of whack. At least this is how I do it. I'm sure there's other ways to do it. Now we'll tighten it up a lot more. The thing's been slipping lately. And that's all the rope. I don't know if that took maybe 15 minutes to do, 10, 15 minutes, but that's how I put my rings together, okay? Okay, here's all the rings for 2 bowls, and what we're going to do now is going to run them through the drum sander. Let's see, turn this back around here. Well, now we're at the part where we start creating the bowl. What I did is I took a piece of black walnut. It's going to be the base of the bowl. Attached it to a waste block. So later on when we're all done, I can just cut this off. But all I do is just glue this all on. Let's see what we got here. Pretty much okay. And then I'll just put a piece of each piece on, so you'll see that happening, okay? So let's get started on the inside. My first thing I do is the very top. And if you're a wood turner, you already know what I'm probably going to talk about. But when you cut this, you always start at the top and work your way to the base. And you don't want to have to come back to the top and keep cutting, because you want the thickness to be what you wanted at the top before you go down lower. Because if you get it thin here and go down and you come back up and try to do more at the top, get a lot of flexing and vibration. So you're just going to make sure it's what you want from the beginning. So I'm going to start by just cleaning up the top, and then from there go for the inside. I got it sanded down to 400, well, 320. I didn't do 400. I don't think it needed it. It looks really nice, feels really good. So what I'm going to do now is use this axe system. It's a system because there's three parts. It's the axe first step, which is a tongue oil. This is the axe abrasive sanding right after that. Actually, this goes on there and it sets there for a little while, and then I wipe it off, and then I'll use this and sand it down even further. It'll put a really smooth feel on this. And finally we'll use a wax. Okay, and that's the axe system. I don't know if they call it a system, but I like calling it a system. It's not. I'm not advertising this stuff. I guess I am, but not that they know of. I just really like it. Most wood turners I'm in contact with online or on YouTube, they use this as well. So I got a band-aid on this finger. Remember when I injured myself yesterday? Yeah. First we put the oil on, tongue oil, and this stuff is messy, so I just use my hands. And I'll put this all over this bowl, and then we'll let it set. Then I'll come back when it's time to do the abrasive sanding, okay? All right, so it's been about an hour and a half. So it's had good enough time to soak in. So I'm gonna rub this off here. Then I'm going to turn it on and rub it off. Make sure it's good and clean. Alright, so I've got sores on this hand, so I'm going to have to put a rubber glove on it to get to do the next part. I should have done it when I put this oil on, but I didn't do it. Okay, now we're doing a sanding paste. I don't know if you can see that. I was pretty quick with it, wasn't I? Alright, so put it all over. Now this one, I'll be sanding it. I'll be turning the lathe on for about 30 minutes and just kind of sanding with the paste. And that would give the almost up to almost 1,000 grit sanding. So it does a really good job. Man, I should use a rubber glove more often. It makes it really easy. Without getting too messy. First time I used a rubber glove for it. Alright. So what we do, or what did I do with that towel? Well, I have to use this towel. Darn it. Is I take my towel and I'll add more to it. I'll turn this on, get out of the way because it's going to splatter for a second. Then I'm just going to sit here and do this for a while. Okay, normally I turn on the TV when I do this. But anyway, so yeah, this is going to take a while, so I'm not going to video record it all, but I'll come back when this part's done and ready to wax. Alright, so that turned out pretty good with the sanding paste. Now I'm going to do is finish up with the oil, what am I saying? With the wax. Another time to get a gob in your hand and just put it everywhere. This bowl turned out really nice. Nice big salad bowl. And that's what the woman who ordered it wanted, a bigger salad bowl than my other bowls. So I decided, I made this one 6 inches tall. My other ones are like 3 and 4 inches tall, but they're wider. This one's like 10.5 inches, I think. I have to look at it again, but okay, let me put it on the outside. Alrighty. I have another bowl just like it I got to turn after this one's finished, but I won't record that one. If you know me, you know I always try to make at least 2 of everything when I make them. Because if you're cutting all these pieces and stuff, it just makes sense to make enough for 2 bowls, because you actually in the long run save time and money. Not only for me, but for the customer. Okay. There's that. Let me, what am I doing? Get my rag again. Put wax on the rag. I'm gonna turn it on and do this again. This won't take that long, so I'm gonna let you stay right there. After we do this, we'll just remove the waste block from the bottom, and then the bowl, and then clean up the bottom and put a medallion on the bottom, and then we'll be done with this bowl. I hope you enjoy this video. If you haven't had a chance, please subscribe to my channel if you would, or I really appreciate it, and comment. It could be anything. If you hate it, tell me. If you love it, I love to hear that. If you have any suggestions, just comments are not only important to YouTube's people, but it's the algorithm. They like to see us get comments, and it gives us feedback too, so it lets me know if I'm on track, if I'm heading the right direction or not with what I'm making. A lot of people are very kind. They don't always say I like it, but they won't tell you if they don't like it. So I'm okay with feedback. If you say you don't like it, please tell me why, so I know, you know, so I can learn from it, you know. And you see wood, you see it's a little shaky off about. Well, see, wood, I like to call it alive, but wood moves. There's moisture in wood, and like overnight it went from probably, I don't know, 12% moisture to maybe 14% moisture, and the wood will move. Now segmented don't move as much as regular wood does, because it's all glued up and pointed in the same direction, and that really does help. Not only as I'm creating it, but it helps, you know, when it's on your shelf or when you're using it. All right, that should do it. All right. I should have said what I did is I started out low, and then I turned the speed up to about 1,000 RPM and really got that wax wet and got it everywhere, and then it hardens and it makes a nice coating. All right. All right, I'm gonna have to stop the video. Got to move the camera so that you can see me do the next thing, removing the waste block. All right, time to cut this waste block off. Now, the only thing to be careful when you're doing this is not letting this thing get away. So what I do is I pull up my tailstock and put one of my plates on here. Kind of holds pressure, and once I cut through, it might flop a little bit, but it won't get away from me. You know what I'm saying? Proper sound. That's that way. That's this tailstock. I do want to say, everyone that turns wood has a cutoff tool. This one here, this very thin one, And it's HSS steel. Man, these things are nice. They cut like butter. Okay, that's it. I got about 3/4 of an inch left. I don't like to go all the way through because I can just pop it off and tap it off. Okay, as you'll see here in a second what I mean. And just, well, it's a little more than 3/4 of an inch, but it's off. Now what I'll do is I'll give me a minute, and I'm going to put the Coles jaws up, and we'll finish this bottom. Okay. You know, once again, I did it again. I turned the bowl around and it started working and forgot to turn the camera on. I do this often. I don't know what my problem is, but I surely have one. Okay. With that being said, you caught me when I'm at least going to drill the medallion hole. I call it more of a divot because I'm only drilling in about 1/8 of an inch for the medallion that will go into the bottom of the bowl. Okay. The signature, if you will. I'm not very, my hand penmanship is terrible, so this is the better option for me. Some guys do a wonderful job writing, not me. So, all right. With that being said, let's see if I can get this. All right. And sometimes I got to worry about how deep I go, but when I have a thick base on it like this one, I don't have to worry about it. All right, there we go. That's what I brought you back for. All right, so now I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the medallion in. I'm gonna finish the bottom, put the medallion in, and then we'll do a reveal. That's better. We'll do a reveal. Okay, it's all finished. Got the bottom on, medallion on. Let me turn. I always do this. I forget to turn the one light on, the overhead light, so you get a little more. Not much more, but it's a little better, huh? Okay, and there's the salad bowl. This is a nice deep salad bowl. I think it's 10 inches across and about 5.5 inches deep. Got a nice pattern to it. Anyway, I think it turned out well. I hope you think so, but if not, let me know. In the comments, let me know what you think. With that, I'd like to say, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It's important that I get subscriptions. We all get subscriptions. That way, you're locked in. And then if you do ring the notification bell, you'll know when new videos come out if you want to watch my videos in the future. So, anyway. All right, there she is. I don't know why it's a she, but I don't know. I say she a lot. There it is. Okay. All right, well, with that, I want to say God bless. Have a great day.